Hello there, Mia Grady here with a look at what's making headlines in Houston, starting with the suspect in the Lovers Lane cold case murders. Floyd Perot has died. Officials say he took his own life while in custody at a Nebraska jail just 1 month after his arrest in the killings of Cheryl Henry and Andy Atkinson. Harris County District Attorney Sean Tier says he had hoped to bring Perot back to Houston to face trial and says the investigation is not over. Here's Orko Manna with more.
There's certainly a feeling of, I think, being cheated.
Mixed emotions today after the suspect in the decades-old Lovers Lane cold case murders was found dead in a Nebraska jail. Harris County District Attorney Sean Tier tells me it appears Floyd Perot took his own life just days before he could be brought back to Houston.
We weren't able to really get the full measure of justice that this defendant so richly deserved.
Perot was arrested last month, accused of killing 22-year-old Cheryl Henry and 21-year-old Andy Atkinson in August 1990. According to court records, the couple was found dead in West Harris County, both with severe injuries to their necks. The case remained unsolved for nearly 36 years until DNA evidence and arrest records tied Perot to the crimes, leading to his arrest last month. Tier hopes that brought some relief to Cheryl and Andy's families.
They don't get their day in court. They don't get to see the evidence put forward. But at the end of the day, he was arrested. He was indicted for capital murder for Andy and Cheryl's murders. And he died while he was in custody.
What's your reaction to hearing that Perot has died?
I was stunned.
Andy Kahn with Crime Stoppers spoke to the victim's loved ones today and says there's some sense of closure.
And the only reason he took his own life is because he actually did what he did to Cheryl and Andy. So there's no question marks anymore. Parrott didn't want to face the music, and he took the coward's way out. And sayonara and good riddance to him.
What is your hope for the case moving forward?
My hope is that anybody who was victimized by Parrott can now feel free to come forward.
The DA's office says several more victims have contacted them and they're investigating another cold case from the 90s that could be linked to Perot. They're interviewing a witness right now in that case who now lives in Louisiana.
This isn't over. We're not giving up on finding every single victim that he victimized. But that's true for all of the families out there that are still looking for answers.
Still connecting the dots. Orko Manna reporting for us. Thank you. A Galveston County family says they finally have some justice nearly 2 years after a mother of two was fatally stabbed 9 times. It happened hours before her divorce was set to be finalized. The defendant, who was just found guilty of murder, was the victim's estranged husband's girlfriend. Jason Miles spoke with the victim's family.
This was the first time this family has been back to this place some 18 months after the brutal crime. Wearing T-shirts featuring her image and that of a cousin who survived the same stabbing attack, Brittany Richard's mother, Shamitria, and others reacted to a verdict in the case.
I feel really good about it.
Defendant Shanice Felder, seen here on the first day of her trial, was sentenced to 35 years Monday after a jury found her guilty of murder.
So 35 years, it'll work for me because Brittany's birthday was on April the 19th, and she would have been 35.
She predicted that time. She got 35 years for her 35th birthday.
Richard was just hours away from finalizing her divorce when Texas City police said she was fatally stabbed 9 times by her estranged husband's girlfriend during a confrontation inside this sports bar. It was among several stops the mother of two made while celebrating a cousin's birthday.
To me, it's like yesterday. And she's never gonna come back. I'm
told surveillance video from the attack was played multiple times during the days-long trial.
Her falling out, her getting back up, it was awful. I had to leave the courtroom numerous of times. It was bad.
The family considers this an important step in their journey for justice as they raise Richard's 2 children without their mother.
They pass an urn every day with their mother in it. That's how they see their mother, in an urn.
According to the Galveston County DA's office, Felder was also found guilty of aggravated assault in relation to the stabbing of Richard's cousin. That 8-year sentence will be served at the same time as the 35 years for murder. In Texas City, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
Now to small business owners who work together to catch a group of comic book thieves. This all started when burglars broke into Texas Time Warp Collectibles late Monday night and stole thousands of dollars worth of merchandise. They tried to sell them at the Comic Vault hours later. Annie Ruiz shows us how both stores worked together to catch the suspects.
Caught on camera, thieves breaking into the Texas Time Warp Collectives in Northwest Houston, stealing more than $10,000 worth of comic books.
It's kind of like a bummer or a kick in the stomach.
Kevin says he took to social media and immediately shared the surveillance video of the two thieves. He also reached out to local stores.
It doesn't hurt. Let me message all the store owners. We might get lucky.
And that's when the story took a turn. About 17 miles away at the Comic Vault, owner Salman Jasani got a call that raised red flags.
I have some X-Men comics, some Spawn comics, and as soon as he said the word Spawn, I was like, wait, this sounds too similar. So I went back and checked Kevin's video that he had circulated on Facebook.
Salman says he had a gut feeling and asked for photos of the comics.
By that time, the pictures came through. I was like, this matches the exact same serial number that's on the graded comic as from what he had sent me in his pictures.
That's when he made his move, asking the sellers to come in.
Yeah, we're totally interested. I have a couple of customers who would love to buy those comics right now.
Soon after, he says, a man and a woman showed up. The man had a backpack full of comics they say matched the serial numbers of the stolen items. They called police, and within minutes, officers arrived. They not only arrested the man and the woman who tried to sell the comics, but also a man waiting next door at the burger shop. Not all of the stolen comics were recovered, but in this story, the ending didn't belong to thieves. It belonged to a community that worked together.
The fact that they actually reached out and were willing to help us speaks volumes about the Houston comic book community.
Houston comic book community showing up. That was Annie Ruiz reporting. Now to a Montrose staple that's preparing to close its doors after decades of serving Houston's music and surf community. Soundwaves is on its final run. Ron Trevino joined neighbors for a walk down memory lane.
All the signs are there, everything half price, and the property on the market. For decades, Soundwaves has been a big part of making Montrose quirky, mixing music and surfing and skating, now all coming to an end. I caught up with the folks in line.
It's just sad to see yet another record store shutting down. This was a great one. I mean, in Montrose, it's an excellent place to go and shop, and yeah, I've come here for a couple years.
Other customers have been shopping at Soundwaves since they were kids.
So this is like part of your childhood going away.
It is. It is. And when you think of all the friends that have been in and out of here, all the surfers, all the skaters, really sad.
Spent many an hour here browsing through CDs and vinyl and whatnot, and really enjoyed them being part of this music and surf community.
The first Soundwaves in Houston opened near the Astrodome back in 1976. There were several locations, but this one on Montrose was the last one left.
At 50% off, even I couldn't resist. I got a Pink Floyd and a Black Crowes. Quality purchases, even at full price. Now, why is Soundwaves shutting down? Well, I spoke with the owner. He says it's just too painful to talk about it right now. He says he'll talk about it in the future. When will be the last day? That still has not been determined.
It called itself the largest core surf, skate, and music shop in Texas. But as you know, a lot of things can go away in the forever-changing Houston landscape. Well, when it comes to Soundwaves, at least we still have the memories of the vibe that it put out there.
But it's tough. It really tugs at your heart.
Ron Trevino, KHOU 11 News.
Such a good vibe it was. Now to patching potholes. It may soon get easier and faster. Driverless car company Whimo is teaming up with Waze, testing technology that flags road damage in real time. Marcelina Benito explains how it works.
In a city where potholes pop up fast, keeping track of them isn't easy.
For a driver on Houston roads, oftentimes it can be somewhat of an off-roading experience, and we know this.
But now, Whimo and its driverless cars want to help change that.
We have a whole team working on potholes. It's really impressive.
Ariel Fleischer, Policy Development and Research Manager at Whimo,
as we get going,
says what already helps Whimo smooth out your ride can be a new tool for cities.
Looking at that dip, how deep is the dip, the vibrations from the dip, there's a lot you can get from that dip.
The same technology that Whimo uses to detect anything out on the road will be used to detect potholes, and they'll be able to transmit that information to cities much faster than they otherwise would.
That pothole location would go to the Waze platform so drivers could see it right away, and it allows cities to access the data for free and without delay.
Getting that real-time information could be a game changer.
Councilmember Abby Kamen represents District C, home to some of the city's oldest infrastructure, and a large number of potholes called into 311.
Could it be better?
We do need a lot more long-term solutions. 650 square miles is a lot of road to cover for a city with the budgetary constraints that we have.
So far this year, the city's pothole tracker shows just under 17,000 potholes have been filled. Last year, Public Works crews repaired more than 54,000, but that was the lowest total since 2018. Whimo believes its pilot program can help cities build on their 311 system and keep them from falling behind.
We've consistently heard from our city partners that this type of data, this pothole data, is a really high priority.
Kamen tells us the partnership is worth exploring, so long as the data delivers.
Any opportunity we have to improve our roads, we should be taking advantage of. Of course, the devil's in the details, and we need to have more information.
The city of Houston has existing partnerships right now with Google and Waze and says it is always looking for new ways to track and fix potholes faster. Now, Whimo's pilot is live in 5 cities right now. That includes Austin and Atlanta. As for Houston, though, no date on when the program will begin here. Back to you.
We'll take it from here. Marcelino, thank you. If you find yourself in the Houston area soon, watch out for gators. Yes, I said gators. We're seeing more than usual after 3 recent sightings in just one day. Collectively, they got our attention. Matt Doherty caught up with some residents who saw a real monster of a gator near the Sienna Golf Course.
Neighbors out here in Fort Bend County say it's not unusual to see those alligators swimming around in the canals like this one, but this time of year they're seeing more and more of them walking around outside on the banks. It's not every day that you see gators acting like this. This happened near a pond on the Freeport Golf Course last week, where a couple says the gator climbed out of the water and started coming after them on their four-wheeler.
He's an everyday occurrence around here.
Dominique Sexton spotted this giant of an alligator over the weekend, not far from her home in Sienna.
Sienna has alligators. It's built on swampland, so it's one of those things that you learn to live with.
Here's another photo of that same gator, taken by a different neighbor yesterday.
This is the biggest one I've ever seen.
Dominique says she thinks the dinosaur-looking creature she's been seeing lurking on the banks is the same one she spotted in the past, only this year it's bigger. She says her kids, who walk to school with the group, know they're not supposed to get close. Of course, they don't all start off this big. Deputies with the Precinct 3 Constable's office were called out to help this little one cross the road and find its way to a pond off Westlake Houston Parkway.
So do you know what you're supposed to do if they charge at you?
I've heard the myth of running in a zigzag.
That is in fact a myth. According to Texas Parks and Wildlife, if an alligator starts coming after you, you should run away as fast as you can. They say head toward a vehicle or a building for safety.
Around here, it's just the fact of living in Texas, honestly.
But the best case scenario is you don't bother them, they don't bother you. In Sienna, I'm Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
You don't have to tell me twice to let them be. Thanks for the warning and the heads up. And with that, that's a wrap of your Houston headlines. I'm Mia Gradney.
Well, Wednesday is going to bring another day where there will be a chance for a strong to maybe a severe thunderstorm across a large swath of Texas, but it won't be North Texas. You guys have had thunderstorms up there a couple of more evenings in a row. As we go into Wednesday afternoon, it will be here across central Texas, southeast Texas that has a chance for a severe storm. Storm Prediction Center doesn't think it's a huge threat, 1 out of a 5-tiered scale, so a general thunderstorm with maybe an isolated severe storm, small hail, gusty straight line wind will be the threat with whatever storms fire up under that regime on Wednesday, and that's most likely to happen if it does going into Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening as a frontal boundary pushes across the state. So we go into Wednesday afternoon, frontal boundary oozing south. This is not blasting south, it's just slowly at the moment pushing south, but in the afternoon with the heat it will kick off thunderstorms. Tyler, Lufkin toward Toledo Bend. Maybe not so much out to the west. Del Rio, San Antonio, only a scattered to isolated shower showing up on modeling Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday evening. This is 9 p.m. Wednesday evening. I wanted to stop it here because San Antonio, thunderstorms here firing up. Those may push to the coastal bend of Texas late in the overnight on Wednesday night and a Thursday morning. And you see the thunderstorms in East Texas, perhaps just north of Houston, Huntsville, over to East Texas and the Sabine River. Quiet weather for the moment out in West Texas on Wednesday evening. We'll go into Thursday. The front just kind of stops. So this is Thursday morning, basically quiet across most of the state Thursday morning, but the warmth will work along with that front. We'll see thunder showers pop up here between San Angelo, Waco, near Austin, perhaps some more lingering showers north Texas, but these may produce some thunder showers closer to the Houston area going into Thursday afternoon. Front backs up and then begins to waffle as we get a low pressure area move across the state. Friday is a wet day as the front finally gets a push across the state. It'll cool things off. Let me show you what this means for temperatures. Wednesday afternoon, a little cooler across North Texas, Abilene 68, while Del Rio hits 100 Wednesday afternoon. Going to Wednesday night to Thursday morning, 50s for North Texas and the Panhandle, lows in the 70s for South Texas as that front kind of splits the state in half. Thursday, 4 in the afternoon, still warm across the coastal plain, cool weather Abilene to Lubbock. Friday morning, those 50s push a little further south, still warm South Texas. Friday afternoon, highs on Friday afternoon only in the 40s and 50s across the northern half of Texas as that frontal boundary opens the door to a taste of more like October, November weather rather than late spring, early summer. That's where we stand, Texas. Back to you.
I'm Quita Culpepper in Austin. The battle over consumable hemp sales in Texas got underway in an Austin courtroom. Several hemp sellers and business leaders sued the Department of State Health Services over their new rules. Those banned smokable hemp and hiked licensing fees for hemp retailers and manufacturers. Plaintiffs argue the way the state health department is calculating THC content in hemp under these new rules is harsher than what state lawmakers authorized, and they believe the health department is overstepping its bounds. In Texas, hemp is sold in various forms, often for health and wellness uses. One woman from Longview talked about the impact of raising the $155 annual retainer licensing fee to $5,000 and how that will have a big effect on her two businesses.
They will most likely close. We are looking for a path forward, but that's for us, that's a huge increase.
Lawyers from the Attorney General's office argued that heating one type of non-psychoactive form of hemp can make it psychoactive. Here, they're questioning that same business owner.
Is that something that you educate your new customers who are new to the business about?
That hasn't come up with any of our customers for me to educate them on that.
Plaintiffs expect the hearings to wrap Thursday and a decision shortly afterwards. Demand for electricians in Texas is surging. Trade unions say they're constantly searching for workers to help build data centers. And the trend could pose a problem for home builders as they too look for workers for residential projects. Reporter Daniel Gomez looks into the demand in Central Texas and how the workforce is keeping up.
Data centers are powering current demand for electricians in Austin.
We've already got dozens of
calls on our job listing page for electricians to work in data centers that have been up for days or weeks sometimes, and we're expecting a lot more through the rest of this year.
Cameron Dodd works with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 520.
We've got like 400 apprentices in our training program right now, and we're always taking applications for more, trying to fill that gap.
Austin Community College also seeing charged up interest in the trade.
Folks are realizing that there's a lucrative long career as an electrician, commercial or residential.
But there's a difference between the two. Commercial work, think data centers, is more complex than residential. And while the Home Builders Association of Greater Austin says there's enough electricians to wire homes, shortages are a problem in other parts of the state. Dodd says data centers offer more money.
I imagine if you can be making upwards of $40 an hour as a journeyman electrician working in a data center, you might opt to do that instead of wiring row after row of a new build house.
Lone Star State electricians have to complete 8,000 hours of on-the-job training. The Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation is proposing a statewide journeyman electrician education program. It allows classroom credit equal to 3,000 hours to go towards the required on-the-job training hours. Dodd doesn't agree with this method of recharging the workforce.
It's going to affect craftsmanship and safety to both people working at the construction site as well as the public.
The state is still taking public comment on the proposal. In the meantime, Central Texan electricians continue to plug away. Daniel Gomez, KV News.
After storms in North Texas, animal shelters in Central Texas are lending a helping hand. The Williamson County Regional Animal Shelter is taking in dogs from affected areas. Reporter Jessica Cha explains.
On the best of days,
how you doing?
And even the worst, the doors are always open at the Williamson County Regional Animal Shelter to help an animal in need.
We're the open intake facility that serves most areas of Williamson County: Round Rock, Hutto, Cedar Park, Leander, Georgetown.
Alexis Fine with the shelter says they take in about 100 local pets a month. But sometimes the doors open for those coming from farther away.
Larry is one of the dogs from the tornado.
A deadly storm hit parts of North Texas over the weekend, ripping homes and businesses apart, including the Tall Tales Rescue and Transport.
Basically, their entire facility where the dogs were was completely destroyed. Thankfully, though, all dogs survived. No people or pets were injured during the storm. It was just a matter of housing them.
So Wilco Shelter has taken in 13 dogs from the Fort Worth area and could expect more depending on how recovery goes. Vine says this isn't the first time they've had to help in severe weather conditions.
Like during the floods in July, we intook, I believe it was like 150 animals that we took in, and we did have a lot of fosters show up and assist with that, which is what we're asking for now.
Vine says they were already at full capacity even before the pets from the storm came in. So they're asking the public for help fostering and adopting these pets.
Our community is just so wonderful. They come and they show up when we need help, and that's what we need now. We need some help now.
A lending hand and an open door. In Williamson County, Jessica Cha, KV News.
WCRAS is open 7 days a week from noon to 6 p.m. So if you'd like to foster or adopt any of the pets there, shelter staff say all you have to do is walk into the shelter in Georgetown and meet them. In North Austin, there's an organization that ensures local athletes with special needs get to shine. Our Jeff Jones recently made it out to see the Austin Miracle League in action.
This is a special needs baseball league.
All right, here we go. This is our 20th year, our 40th season.
Once they're registered, they never age out. So we have children from the age of 4 to 29.
Is your name Megan?
Yes.
Hi, Megan.
And it allows their parents to sit in the stands and watch. It allows their siblings to watch them for a change.
Number 21, Isaac, up next to that.
They're realizing that they can have fun just as much as anybody else can.
Do we have big miracles every weekend? Absolutely not, but I totally see the little miracles of finding joy in the little things that we all take for granted, and they don't.
It's an awesome experience for these kids. It's even a great experience for our buddies.
Are you ready? Our buddies have to be 12. They go through a meeting, they get a referral. But they come out here and sometimes they find out what they can give back.
We've had kids that go to college based on what they've done out here at Miracle League.
When we first started the league, we were like, we're not just going to go from first to second and third like baseball games do. We're going to make it kind of different.
So between the first and second inning, we come into the backstop and we sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and then we do the chicken dance. They don't really care about the game sometimes. They just want to do the chicken dance.
They love the chicken dance. So we're going to keep the chicken dance forever.
There's still things that I see that just make me in awe of what these kids can do and what these young adults can do. I'll always be out here, you know. I'm not getting any younger, but it's something it's like a child to me.
1, 2, 3, go!
You love to see it. And that's all from us here in Austin. Hope you have a great day.
I'm Mike Gillespie in Corpus Christi, and here's a look at some of what's making news in South Texas. One of the most critical pieces of Corpus Christi's water system is getting a closer look: the Mary Roads pipeline. The city entering a new phase of testing aimed at improving efficiency. Josh Maxwell breaks down what that means for the pipeline's future.
As Corpus Christi looks to bring in new water sources, city leaders say it's important to protect what we already have. Corpus Christi Water COO Nick Winkleman says that's why crews are taking a multi-phase approach to maintaining the Mary Roads pipeline.
So as a result of the first phase of the project, we've added additional pressure transmitters so that we can understand the operating pressures of the pipeline.
Winkleman says the next phase will focus more on targeting specific areas of the 100-mile-long pipeline.
It's a sonar and pressure device that we will insert into the pipeline to help identify and further diagnose why there are certain pressure exceedances at different parts of that pipeline.
Winkleman says they're already taking notes from the completion of Phase 1.
There are some areas of the pipeline where there potentially are some restrictions.
Without it, we'd be short 70 million gallons a day.
Corpus Christi at-large Councilman Roland Barrera says making sure the pipeline is at full capacity is important at a time when water usage is expected to increase.
During our peak in the summer, we're going to use 130. So that's without curtailment.
Barrera says without the pipeline, Corpus Christi would be in a much worse position that we are now.
Even then, if you took 25% of the 130, you're still taking at about 85 million gallons a day, of which the majority comes from Mary Roads pipeline.
So, with water supplies under pressure, can the region keep up with any kind of population growth? Well, hundreds of new homes, in fact, are being planned in San Patricio County. But as Michael Gibson shows us, that development is adding new demand on an already strained system.
Here off of Highway 77 between Sinton and Odom is one of several housing developments that are going in, bringing hundreds of new homes to this area. But we asked officials if they're worried about the impact all of these homes are going to have on our water supply.
Developers are moving forward on multiple projects around Odom. Lennar is building a 500-home subdivision right here. On the east side of town, Flagstop Crossing will add 153 homes. And in southwest Odom, another 250-home neighborhood is planned right next to an existing Lennar development.
We're excited to see this new neighborhood going up. Obviously, it's going to put a little bit more of an impact, especially with all the water issues that we have in our community here. And, we should be able to meet the demand.
City leaders say newer homes like those at Flagstop Crossing are being built with water and energy efficiency in mind. It's an approach some Corpus Christi leaders say should be encouraged citywide with incentives.
I had been asking for that for years now, that we offer specific credits where, if we have homes that have xeriscape or homes that have more energy efficient or water efficient appliances.
As demand grows, one option the city is not pursuing is a moratorium on new water connections.
The easiest thing would be to put a moratorium on new water meters. However, we're not recommending that, and furthermore, state law from the last legislative session made that tougher to do.
Still, some council members say conservation needs to go even further.
And we've also got to address these car washes. Quit giving these permits out for these car washes. You've got some that are next door to each other. This is craziness when you're in a drought.
Meanwhile, back in Odom, those new housing subdivisions total some 800 brand new homes. Those developments will rely on water from Corpus Christi through the San Patricio Municipal Water District. Michael Gibson, 3 News.
And that is a quick look at some of what's making news here in South Texas.
Hi, I'm Brennan Gurley, and here's what's making headlines across East Texas. A golf course owner is proving life can change in an instant, and it's how you respond that defines the next shot. After a rare infection left him fighting for his life and cost him both legs and 6 fingers. CBS 19's Robert De La Garza introduces us to Mark Rayburn, now back on the course with a new purpose and a powerful perspective.
At the Birmingham Golf Course in Rusk, owner Mark Rayburn says the game of golf is a lot like the game of life.
Bad things happen, you have to recover. You know, you can't let it get you down because it'll affect your next shot.
With ups and downs, both Mark knows too well.
They had told my wife to gather the family, say your goodbyes. You know, she had signed the do not resuscitate, and it's like, I was a goner, basically.
3 years ago, a rare infection sent his body into septic shock, leaving him with just a 5% chance to live.
The medicine we used saved your life, but we're going to have to amputate both your legs below the knee and both your hands.
A second shot at life, but the fight didn't end there.
That moment, I did not want to live.
But like golf, he fought his way out of the rough.
I told you, I felt like the hand of God. Just this energy went right through me. At that point, everything turned around. It's like, okay, I want to fight this.
And after 85 days in the hospital, 14 surgeries, and months of rehab, Mark had to reinvent himself.
And I kept saying it's one day at a time, like just one day at a time, and we're going to get on the other side of this.
Mark's wife, Angela, says months later he was back on the course, relearning the game he loves.
It's helped him in his recovery in just an amazing way.
With adaptive clubs, Velcro grips, and custom gloves.
And wrap it around like a bull rider so I can hold on to it.
He's not just playing, he's competing.
And I'm going to play a few more tournaments this year. I'm going to play the Texas Adaptive Open, Texas State Open. I get to meet all these people that I never would have met until this happened to me. You know, I never would have met these people.
And like golf, life deals bad breaks or tough lies.
Don't let little things hold you back and distract you. They're not important. Having a good outlook, it can make a difference. It can. So.
But you don't control the breaks, only the next swing and how you finish. For CBS 19, I'm Robert De La Garza.
Construction in downtown Tyler has been a hot topic for months, bringing both excitement and frustration. CBS 19's Nayeli Creo shows us how that project is causing some headaches and what's still to come.
Noise, detours, and heavy machinery have become the new normal in downtown Tyler.
It's going to take some sacrifice to make our town a better place to live.
It's all part of the city's downtown revitalization project. City leaders say the first phase is nearly complete, with hopes of reopening key streets in the coming weeks.
In 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to see concrete out here, you're going to see bricks out here, you're going to see progress, and you're going to love it.
But for some businesses on the square, months of construction are taking a toll.
The construction hits, and it's, an order of magnitude more devastating than COVID was for us.
Tuesday, Lance McWhorter's restaurant, Heritage East, was closed due to limited access and delivery issues, making daily operations challenging. The construction has made it harder for customers and suppliers to reach downtown shops.
Take extra time to plan when you come down and visit downtown Tyler.
Jesus Flores, who traveled downtown for lunch to support small businesses, says the construction will pay off in the long run.
For future generations and for our town overall, it's something that we're really proud that's happening.
The vision is to transform the heart of the city into a more vibrant, walkable, and welcoming place.
When we are finished, it's going to blow everybody's mind.
But McCorder worries his restaurant might not make it to the finish line.
If we survive this, I will be surviving this with nothing left. No savings, no safety net, no blanket, nothing. For this to be a true success of a revitalization project, every single one of us needs to still be here when this is done.
Construction will continue in phases throughout the year. The Downtown Square project is expected to begin this summer. City leaders and business owners agree community support is key. In downtown Tyler, Nayeli Carrillo, CBS 19.
And that's a wrap of your East Texas headlines. I'm Brennan Gurley.
I'm Isis Romero, and this is the news in San Antonio. What began as a sex assault outcry from one young man is now a large-scale effort to identify more possible victims across Northside ISD. A woman who has been teaching in the district since 2007 has been arrested and charged with continuous sex abuse of a child related to allegations that go back to the 2017 school year. Sue Kalberg has more on the allegation and the response by the district.
The allegation that led to the arrest involves alleged predatory behavior that happened here at Lewis Elementary School. The arrest affidavit doesn't name the school, but NISD has confirmed that the accused taught here from 2007 to 2019. 46-year-old Cecilia Mueller was arrested yesterday. The affidavit for her arrest explains in detail allegations made by a man who's now 20 years old. The man says in the 2016-17 school year, he was a 5th grade student in Mueller's class. He claims the woman targeted a group of kids as her favorites, giving them special privileges like lunches in the classroom. The affidavit says those encounters in the first few months of the school year led to secret, explicit physical contact in a classroom closet during the remainder of the year. The affidavit goes into detail how investigators were able to access phone logs from that time period, and they say they found about 300 text messages and pictures were exchanged between Mueller and the boy. Fast forward to the present. NISD confirms Mueller's now on leave while the investigation continues. They say she's been a teacher at Henderson Elementary since 2019. The district provided a letter to parents they say has been shared with both school communities in which they promise the schools are a safe environment. They say the school counselors are prepared to help anyone who may need it. The case is being handled by the SAPD Special Victims Unit, and they say anyone who could have been a victim should call 210-207-2313. Mueller's bond has been set at $95,000. She has a court-appointed attorney. If she is released, there's a no-contact order for the victim and a prohibition against firearms. There's been no date set yet for her next court appearance. In Northside ISD, Sue Kalberg, KENS 5.
San Antonio council members are working to make sure no veteran is homeless, and District 5 Councilwoman Terry Castillo is leading the movement. Earl Stoudemire explains.
At today's press conference, District 5 Councilwoman Terry Castillo announced her plan to support veterans using housing vouchers and individuals using Section 8 vouchers. Castillo's plan includes the city making its own voucher incentive program to encourage property owners to accept different vouchers. Castillo and other council members are citing 95% of veterans in San Antonio and Bexar County can be accepted at different properties with their vouchers, but believe more can be done for those without a home.
San Antonio must do right by its veterans.
While the data shows the overwhelming majority of veteran voucher holders in our community are successfully housed, we must ensure every veteran can access the housing they've earned.
Castillo's plan, filed in 2025, differs from the ordinance the city's Planning and Community Development Committee is proposing. The committee's proposed ordinance would prohibit all rental properties from denying a veteran applying with a voucher. If violated, the landlord could face up to a $500 fine. Castillo says while she wants to help every veteran get housing, she wants to get it done in a more collaborative approach.
We should have a discussion about what that $500 penalty looks like, because we should be incentivizing and encouraging property owners to participate rather than mandating property owners accept vouchers.
Castillo says her plan would allocate $500,000 from the city's relocation assistance budget to Opportunity Home to support rental properties who accept Section 8 and veteran vouchers. Castillo says property owners opted out of the city's housing voucher incentive policy made in May of 2021 because they had to delay getting rental payments from the federal government. Castillo hopes her plan can bridge the gap.
Here we are with staff's recommendation on $500,000 for 900 families to incentivize property owners to accept both VASH and Section 8 vouchers.
After today's meeting, the city's Planning and Community Development Committee can approve their plan to then go to City Council. We'll continue to follow for updates. From City Hall, Earl Stedemeyer, KENS 5.
As the playoff wins keep piling up, vendors are cashing in. Mike Jimenez shows us what merchandise is a hit with Spurs fans as the race for Sace heats up.
It's been anything really with Wimby. Wimby, of course, is the main seller, but Castle is starting to come up now, too.
As the Spurs chase their 6th NBA championship, Spurs are lining up wanting their Spurs gear.
People have been waiting for this for a long time. It wasn't like this in 19, the last time they made the playoffs, but it's back to 14, 07 when they won the championships, man.
Vendor Steven Calderon says in previous playoff runs, it used to be all about t-shirts, but now fans want it all.
I mean, anything you can think of people want, we can pretty much produce. You know, flags, banners, like I said, fatheads.
Andrew Carrillo says he's been in business since the first Spurs championship in '99, but says this championship run has a different feeling.
A good feeling that's happening, you know, that there's no stopping this team.
And there's no stopping Spurs vendors who are taking advantage of the Spurs momentum as they struggle to keep merchandise in stock.
It's almost a 24/7 right now.
Spurs fan Monica Flores says she was inspired to come out to shop after watching and hearing Spurs fans celebrating.
I was on my way home, and the Spurs parade on Military last night was crazy, and I had to get a new shirt. I had to celebrate and be a part of it. So I got one for my mom, my cousin, and myself. We're all going to be good to go.
And as the Spurs continue their race for Sace, vendors say the closer the Spurs get to the championship, sales are only going to increase.
Sales, like I said, will double, and as the rounds go, triple. It just keeps going up and up and up. So, and right now the excitement, everybody is all about Spurs.
There's something in the air that tells you they're gonna win it this year.
Go Spurs, go!
Mike Jimenez, KENS 5.
And that's the news in San Antonio.
Well, here's your headlines from Southeast Texas. I'm Mark Armstrong. The suspect in a murder that's haunted Southeast Texas for almost a year faced an Orange County jury Monday. Derek Bradley, he's charged in the murder case of Cassie Graves. Now, family says that the two had been in a relationship and shared 2 children. The mother of 4's body was found in September of 2023 on North Highway 87 near the International Paper Mill. Investigators say that she'd been strangled. Bradley was arrested almost exactly 1 year later. Now, a Beaumont man is going to spend 4 decades in prison for a deadly shooting back in 2024. Andre Williams pled guilty to Gregory Carrington's murder. He was shot and killed outside of Honey's Drive-In on Delaware in Beaumont after Williams fired into a crowd following a fight. Investigators say that Carrington was an innocent bystander in all this. And a fallen Jefferson County deputy constable is going to be laid to rest this week. There's going to be a procession for Heather Avery Stutz on Wednesday and visitation Thursday. Her funeral will be Friday. Now, according to DPS, Avery, she was conducting traffic on I-10 near Winnie when a Mack truck hit the back of her patrol car. The 48-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene. And a house fire in Little Cypress left 4 people displaced. This happened Monday on Little Cypress Drive, and it started in a loft area. Crews say that the home had extensive fire, smoke, and water damage. The official cause remains under investigation. Thankfully, no one was hurt in all this. Well, higher gas prices from the war in Iran, they're having impacts in Southeast Texas. It's an extra cost that Meals on Wheels leaders say is making delivering meals to seniors more expensive. 12 News reporter Daniela Tabuada-Palau, she spoke to the CEO of the program.
The program director tells me Meals on Wheels has never had a wait list before. Now there's 150 seniors and counting waiting for meals, all because of rising gas and food prices.
This is their hour of need, and we need to be there.
As gas prices climb, so does the number of Southeast Texas seniors struggling to get a hot meal.
The gas prices being higher, the food prices being higher, everything being higher, and that, again, it impacts how many people we can serve.
Putting seniors on a wait list has never been an option. For CEO of Nutrition and Services for Seniors, Janice Kimball, now it's a reality.
Now people that are calling in, new clients, are having to take a number, in essence, to eat, and that makes me sick.
Right now, Kimball says more than 150 seniors are waiting for meals, and that number could keep growing as the organization is forced to scale back its own delivery fleet. But keeping the program going are the volunteers, people who, despite higher prices at the pump, keep showing up.
I might be the only person that they have visit that day.
Sandy Rostrom has been delivering meals for nearly 2 years, setting aside about an hour each day to make sure seniors don't go without. She says no matter how high gas prices go, she's not stopping.
Even though gas prices are rising and they may still get higher, that will not affect me as far as volunteering. That's not a consideration. Whatever the gas is, I'm willing to sacrifice that. And if you could just see the smiles on their faces, that's worth $1 million.
But even with volunteers stepping up, leaders say without more funding to cover fuel costs, tough decisions may be ahead.
I don't ever want to take a meal away from a senior. So that is what we'll have to do. Is it just going to be that wait list will increase?
Kimball says an extra help from the community is needed. If you would like to volunteer, donate, or help the cause, head to our website, 12newsnow.com. In studio, Danielle Tabuada-Palau, 12 News.
Well, there's still no timeline from the Texas Education Agency on what comes next, but we are learning more about who wants a seat at the table for Beaumont ISD's Board of Managers. The TEA confirming 106 applications were submitted, with 92 coming from inside district boundaries. The applicant pool includes 50 men and 56 women, with African American candidates making up the majority. Education levels, they range from high school diplomas to doctorates, while 77 applicants completed the required Lone Star governance training. We're going to keep you updated as we confirm more about what's next from the district. Well, new developments about that shakeup at Beaumont City Hall. The city attorney telling 12 News that the city's not going to have a comment on Miles Haynes' sudden departure until later this week. Over the weekend, Mayor Roy West confirmed to 12 News that Haynes, who served as the interim economic development manager, was no longer employed with the city. The mayor says that his last day was Friday. Haynes was one of the applicants who applied to replace city manager Kenneth Williams. Chris Boone was appointed to fill that position. Haynes, he was named interim economic development manager last October. Before that, he had served as the assistant to the city manager over special projects. Mayor West says he wishes Haynes well in his future endeavors. And those were the headlines from Southeast Texas.
I'm Adrian Carbajal. Here are your headlines from Central Texas. Two Central Texas strangers met for the first time, soon to be connected through the power of a kidney donation. For more than 2 years, Michael Miller has been fighting a battle his body couldn't win on its own.
I'm diabetic. Ended up with high blood pressure after becoming diabetic. It started eating at my kidneys.
What followed was a life of dialysis every other day. Long, exhausting treatments, uncertainty about the future, and time slipping away.
Finding out that I was getting a kidney. It's life-changing.
That life-changing moment came in the form of someone he had never met. Brandy Watkins saw Michael's story on social media and felt something she couldn't ignore.
Being in radiology, we see a lot of people on the worst day of their lives and take care of a lot of really sick, scared people. Some of those being my own family members that I've lost. And so I just saw that and thought, okay, it's meant to be.
The two spoke for weeks, building a bond before ever meeting face to face.
And like I said, I kind of already feel like we're family.
For Michael, this gift means more than survival. It means time. Time with his children, time to work again, time to live without the constant weight of illness.
This is giving me more time that I that I wasn't going to be able to have with my kids. And like I said, life change is changing my entire life.
Now just days away from surgery on May 5th, both say they're feeling the same mix of emotions.
Just excited, a little nervous. I kind of have thoughts like everybody, is something bad going to happen while I'm sitting there. Everything going to turn out fine, but I try to put my faith in God, and I know that everything's going to be perfect.
The surgery is set for next Tuesday. Michael's family says they'll be traveling frequently for follow-up care and have set up an online fundraiser to help with expenses. In other news, Central Texas restaurants and their employees are warning others about an alleged dine and dasher. Posts from different businesses appear to show the same man, often wearing a blue hoodie and glasses, with a similar accusation, dine and dash. Or Juliana Jackson spoke to one local server who's sharing her story and why she says this is hitting small businesses where it hurts most.
Post after post online, showing what appears to be the same man wearing almost the same clothing every time, moving from one family-owned restaurant to another in Temple, then allegedly leaving without paying.
Cheese curds up!
At Wes's Burger Shack, waitress Caitlin Cleveland says she didn't think much of his behavior at first.
People have bad days, and he kept wanting me to get away from the table. And I was like, why? Like, what?
She says the man kept asking her to step away from the table, then ordered dessert. When she walked away and came back, he was gone.
I waited 15 minutes and he was gone.
Cleveland says the tab left was around $70, something she knows can make or break a shift.
$65, $70. And some days that's what a waitress makes all day. So that would have been all her tips.
She says she was lucky her employer covered the cost, but says for other businesses, that can come directly out of the server's own pockets. With more businesses sharing surveillance footage online with similar accusations, Caitlin says Central Texas restaurants need to be on alert.
People are losing, and it's not fair to them. You know, this is their livelihood. They don't get anything else.
Temple PD tells 6 News they currently don't have any active cases connected to these incidents. And for the man seen in those photos, she says it didn't have to happen this way.
If he would have just asked and said, hey, I don't have money and I'm hungry, we would have just gave it to him anyway. He didn't have to do that.
Police say if you're a business owner or your employee, you can call their non-emergency number to file a report or call 911 in an emergency. For now, local restaurants like Wes's say they're watching closely. More than 274,000 Texas families applied for school voucher funding, and now for the first wave of acceptances are being sent out. The state awarded more than 42,000 students in the first round, worth about $415 million. Our Sydney Walker has more on what's next for families and the private schools opening their doors to more students.
Thousands of Texas families have received their first ever school voucher, helping them financially choose the school that they want, including Bishop Lewis Riker Catholic High School in Waco.
Families that are interested in our school will find a place.
Dr. Michael Pinnell, head of school, said they opted in, focused on helping families access faith-based education.
Financial support that allows them to make those choices. We think it's really exciting, and of course we want to support that.
He did say they started with a modest amount of spots.
We wanted to make sure that the families who were looking at us, valued our mission, and the things that they wanted were things obviously that we could supply.
But there are several school voucher families with an interest in Bishop Riker.
It's over 20, and it's getting very close to 25. And this is a lot more than we had anticipated.
Familiar applicants.
Some of these students have already been students at our school, and we're already serving them.
And new, but they anticipate some may not be a fit.
Whether some of the learning challenges and learning differences that they're bringing, we actually have the staff to address.
Pinnell did point out that the students applying do already have education plans in place.
They already have recommendations for what they need in order to be successful. That makes it a whole lot easier for us.
The next steps fall on the families.
They have to go through the process of accepting those funds and then making sure that all of the application renewal and re-enrollment for the next school year is all in place.
And on the school.
It's been a challenge just following the law and understanding how it works, counseling families. There's still going to be some challenges ahead, I think.
Those who were awarded funding for July have to select their school by June 1st and confirm enrollment by June 15th. In August, funding families must choose by July 15th and confirm enrollment by July 31st. And those are your headlines from Central Texas.